nuisance and associations between the startup and the Ruby on Rails. So that is the context I want to talk about. Okay. So pardon me, you all came. It's a session on Ruby on Rails. This is not. But obviously, we have plenty of architects and software folks in our office. We'll be happy to have a session on Ruby on Rails if you guys need it. And on our website, there are free videos of Ruby, sort of how to get started with Ruby and set up Ruby framework. So with that context, let me start. So I said, I believe that a great idea can be built with any technology. Really, it is mostly component of the technology stack that you decided to use. It's probably more to do with the opportunity, the leadership, the execution, the marketing plan, and the technology choices. Things are there, but most of it is to do with how viable is your product or idea. Have you really found a market need? Is the market ready for it? How about your competitors? All those factors play prominently in your success as a startup. Of course, you need to have a bit of luck to be, and luck and timing is important to be successful. Now, if you are a technology startup, which I believe most of the folks sitting here or wanting here want to be a technology startup, you have this is it's a PHP slide, okay? So the PHP technology stack is all about getting stuff done. It's fast, and most of the academics you either learn Java or PHP, right? So you have some experience when you come out of the college, you do have some experience with the programming language. So most of the time, your first app is to learn PHP, WordPress and Drupal, which are the CMSs out there. All of them are to learn PHP. So that is a choice out there. So my objective for the next few slides will talk to you about different choices as a startup to choose the technology stack. So this is about the PHP. Why am I not seeing the okay. Problem with the let's talk about but this is about the Java, okay? Java platform. They have automatic memory management, cares about object orientation, IDE required, memory is so cheap, threading is the way to go, and then you have applets. The Java developers don't really care about Java applets per se, but it's open source but owned by all of them. Slower but started development, but safer development cycle. So that is about the Java. So Java has got, as I said about PHP, Java also is quite prominent in the academic world. So you'll be able to get some experienced folks to work for your startup if you are basing your technology on Java. Right. Then we have C, C++. I have the slide, I have the heading on top, but for some reason it's not coming on this slide. So it's about, this slide is about the philosophy of C++ technology stack. Okay. It's better than Java, originally designed for desktop applications. But the problem with the startups, if you base your technology stack on C or C++, would be the cost. Okay. It's an enterprise supported platform. Therefore, you have to pay price for scaling it up, running it, and running your business on a C++. Of course, you have to operate IaaS too, which is sort of the service. Sometimes people find it difficult to manage scaling it up on IaaS, using IaaS. Then you have the other options. There are two dynamic languages that is become very popular for startups. One of them is Python, and the other one is Ruby. Python today is very popular with the backend applications development, NLPs, APIs, so etc. All Python is very popular. Ruby is more preferred for consumer-facing applications, right? Where the Python done most of your backend heavy lifting jobs, Ruby and Ruby is like your testing frameworks, Cucumber and other things. Ruby is quite popular. Performance and concurrency, all these are issues, especially with Python, performance and concurrency are all taken care of. Ruby is still questionable on the concurrency part, but the later versions of Ruby have come out with better architecture and on concurrency. Alright. So this is about the Python stack. So there's only one way to obvious way to do things. Code has to be beautiful, simple, and explicit. Documentation is critical, and for very strong language design and leadership. If you are a Python programmer, or if you build a team of Python developers, I'm sure you probably will have very strong technology. So that's characteristic of the language. So again, my aim is not to promote any language per se, but to talk about, as a startup, when you are choosing a technology framework, what are some of the cultural dimensions as well as choices you may have to think about. So moving to the Ruby on Rails side. So I don't know how many of you know Ruby on Rails, so I'll briefly touch upon what it is so you have some perspective. So Ruby is a programming language. It's created by a guy called Akihiro Matsumoto. It's nicknamed Max. So he developed this language taking some of the cool features from popular languages like Perl, Smalltalk, Lisp, etc. Okay? So it's based out of Japan. So he started to work in early 90s, and the version 1 came out sometime during 1998, 1999, and 2000 onwards it's been there. 2007 people have started using it, and then it evolved, and then now it's sort of reaching in a very exciting stage. So that's a Ruby programming language. Max, his vision is he wanted to make programmers happy and easy to learn. He wanted to create a programming language that's easy to learn and make programmers happy. So another functionality of the language is that you can write more understandable code. So the language itself is very expressive. So you can write more meaningful, like English-like code. So it becomes self-explanatory. So you may not need, like if you write in C or C++, use recursive functions, nobody will understand what it is. But Ruby language is very expressive. So you can almost like, so people, we feel that if you write it properly, it will be very easy for others to come in and understand. Okay? And it's free of story and of course free and open source. Rails, so it's got two parts as I said. So Ruby is a programming language and Rails is a framework. The framework definitely, definition of a framework. The framework is, like if you are working on an enterprise Java platform, right? You have an MVC architecture, you have a server-side component, servlets and other things. And then you have, Java will give you a J2EE framework. J2EE is another framework, right? Which will allow you to deploy your server-side, stitch the client to the server-side, right? So you may not have to really plug in all the codes, so it will give you a framework, a vehicle for you to connect. The same concept here, Rails will give you a framework so that you can quickly develop web applications. So there's a server-side component and then you have a client-side component. So you basically deploy the application on the Rails framework, and then you have your web application up and running. So that's the fundamental view of the Rails framework. Rails as a framework. It's mostly written by a guy called David H. Hansen. This work came from his own project that he did using Google. So he wanted to develop an application. So for Basecamp. So while he was developing the Basecamp project, he realized that he can make most of the work that he did in libraries and give it to others to reuse it. Right? And therefore, naturally, Rails is written in Ruby. So, conventional configuration, they always talk about that. That means that there are specific rules that is specified to use Rails. So, if you follow the convention, you can get rid of most of the configuration. Like, for example, Java, for example, if you wanted to stitch your classes, you have a big XML file, right? To define all these different type of things. But in the Rails world, if you follow the convention and the naming pattern, most of those configurations can be eliminated. So system, because it's designed that way, system can understand how the client and the server can talk to each other. So that is that. Then of course you have the new players like Node.js and Scala, which is all coming in the new age. Node.js is a server-side scripting platform. Scala is also coming up. And then you have the Go language, the better C. There's a lot of excitement on the Go language today. It's very powerful. Concurrency is there. Documentation is critical. For the evolving new technology. So that's about the choices as a startup that you have. You choose on a technology economy. So I believe I touched upon most of the options that we have. Maybe focus a little more on the Ruby and Rails because that's where we've been working on. So you have any questions before I continue to the next slide? So the next slide is about trying to, my humble attempt to trying to think through the mind of an entrepreneur and see, how this Rails platform could benefit you as an entrepreneur. Okay? That's the next set of slides. So as an entrepreneur, let's think about it. You have a great idea. That's why you want it. You want to become an entrepreneur. You want to get to the market. And of course, most of the time you don't have lots of money. You basically work out of the garage, or you work out from somebody, or you work for some time, and don't work for some time. Obviously, you don't have a lot of money. But then you want to build a prototype as soon as possible, right? Because that's the only way you're going to take it to some early adopters in the later market. And then, of course, you want to get an MVP and give it to the users to see how they respond and get some value feedback and modify it. This is the typical mindset of an entrepreneur, right? So let's try to map how you can map this into actionable items to your team. So you have to have a team, right? You cannot do it yourself. You have to have a team. So what would be your thought process to the team? So I believe the thought process of the team would be, I have a great idea, but I want to share to my team. And I want to work with the team who share the same idea, right? I mean, that's quite natural to think, right? Okay? My team should really think and behave the way that I think. Only then it's going to be successful, right? Because you're talking about the personal traits of people. Yeah. So also, I don't have lots of money, but I want my team to understand my vision and the future, so that collectively we can make it work. So I need to build a prototype. Team, please, as soon as possible. If someone else will be thinking the same idea, so please help me. That would be your gift. Now, I want to validate the market, and therefore I should be able to deploy and manage my idea, a technical solution, without really burning money. Okay, it's very important. And finally, uh, my early adopters, I should be able to use it and provide some useful feedback. So it's sort of actionable items I try to map from an enterprise viewpoint. Okay? So now, what it means, you're basically asking, can you dream like me? So my point was, if you are a typical software developer, you probably learn Java, .NET, you want to get a job. You really fit to be part of my dream. By the fact that some of you came for this this talk, clearly shows that you're not really the regular folk who wanted to get a job, get paid every month, that's it. These people who learn this technology, any new technology, have taken a bit of risk. Right? Because any new technology that you learn, there is no sure guarantee that you will be successful. Whereas if you take Java or .NET or PHP, for sure you'll get a job. Right? So therefore there's a personality trait, as you can see already. People who actually say, look, I have this final year project on Ruby on Rails or Python. Okay, because I think I really love that technology. I want to learn something new. So you can clearly see the angle, the personality trait between startups' thought process and the employees' thought process. They probably are more aligned. I'm not saying they are fully aligned, but probably they are more aligned than you want to, you get a guy who says, look, I like Java, it's all there. I don't care about money, the documentation is there, I can feed it and Python. So that is that. Then the second part is about the prototyping phase. You want it to be on a platform where it will allow you to develop the application quickly, and the rapid application development factor. And then of course, Ruby do have a deployment mechanism around the world. Heroku is the deployment platform that most of, or these days AWS, that Ruby available. Now, and also you should be aware as startups, there are different expectations if you're building a Java team or PHP team or Ruby on Rails. And to be honest, I have experienced myself. When some of the interviews, the only question they will ask is, are you sure you're going to give me a Mac machine to work? Because that is the expectation of a Ruby on Rails developer. So they have different expectations. So you got to be aware of that. And different concerns too. So as I said, none of technologies are bad, but they do come with a culture. And my earlier point is, does smart engineers really care about new technologies? I think yes. Because the fact that you've taken some risk, you've taken some new roads to learn something new really shows that you probably are a little bit above an ordinary graduate from there. And obviously, the more I think about it, I think the question should be that does the technology fit my company's core values? So that is something you need to answer, think before deciding on your startup's technology stack. Sure. Because all of them come with different expectations, different culture, different challenges. Our challenge as a Ruby on Rails technology, I'll tell you, is about the fact that there is no available talent. You need to create talent, right? So, and then as I said, people who know Ruby on Rails come with expectations. Mac machines, Facebook and other things open all the time. Google is open in our office. Which you cannot work. If you close it down, your internet connectivity, you better be on C and C. It's not going to work. So that's the point about the company's culture and your ability to think through what kind of company I want to build. Therefore, choose your technology stack on that is very important to be successful. Okay. Smart startup definitely would like to have better programmers. And then, of course, get a minimum viable product launched. So let me talk about how Ruby on Rails can help you on the second point. It's an open source, very vibrant open source community built around Ruby on Rails. So there are a lot of gems. Gems are, you can imagine, they're like libraries, like Java libraries, which does specific, specific problem. It solves specific problems. So if you have a problem, for example, a specific type of search or some other specific, let's say for example a dialog box which opens with multiple cascading dialog boxes, you basically you need it because the business solution needs that design. So most of the time you will find a solution through a gem that somebody has already solved it. So basically, you can go inherit that gem, add it, and there you go. Okay. So there's large number of gems available to do most of your regular tasks. Of course, you have to do the plumbing to build that thing up, but quickly you can get all those gems. Device is another gem that we use. There are many gems, so to get things going. So that is it. And then. Gems allows you to make things much faster. So with the gem and the Heroku framework, we believe that you can quickly build and deploy your MVP product on Ruby on Rails. So again, a characteristic of a good startup. Okay. Sometimes you also need some VC funding sometime down the line. So let's say you build the product on Ruby on Rails, and imagine the case that this VC was in Hawaii, returning in a bus class. He was crossing through a technology magazine, and he said, "Oh, okay, there's a new technology on Ruby on Rails." So probably, some of these VCs are interested to look at newer technology startups, that are focused or based upon new technology stacks. So this is a differentiating factor for you to be very different from an ordinary startup. Okay. Then of course the passion for the product. So as I said, the Ruby on Rails developers are expected to find a solution. There is no spoon feeding. There is no real answers out there because there's a community. You expect to interact with the community, get your problem solved. All right. So as I was talking about, alluding to earlier, I believe that most of these points are related to a personality pitch that is probably more inclined towards working in a startup. And remember, most of the great companies are built with a very small team of passionate people. So I think there's a sort of a billboard at the entrance of the startup missions office, which says to the effect that if you are working on something, you may get burned out, but if you are working on something that you really love doing, then that's your passion. Right? So similar concept. If you can build a passionate group of Ruby developers working on your startup, working on your project, I think coming to the office going to be a joyride for most of them. Okay. So I think I talked about it. It's made for web and DHH and etc. etc. So I have a startup use case So the startup use case is something taken out of our own experience building a solution for the startup. Before that I get into there, was there any questions?
Multi-platform? Both the language multi-platform?
Multi-platform, yeah, it is. So it's almost like Java, there's a JVM equivalent, so you can run it on any platform. Rails does the trick for you. On the graphics processing. You are asking, is there an OpenGL kind of library available? I don't know. I'll have to check in. I don't know. May not be there. I don't know. Okay, the statement says that it's not there.
It's not used for that.
Yeah, it's not mainly. Sure, it's not. I don't know whether there's a library type open. I don't know. May not be there. Because it's the primary objective of this framework is to quickly to the web application. Yeah, productive. Like that's what I was trying to. That's what I was trying to associate productivity factor with the startup needs.
Most of them are no framework for the place.
Yes, it's Symphony and
Coordinators.
Coordinator Symphony.
Identified is also.
In fact, it's similar. If you know PHP, migrating to Ruby on Rails will be much easier. But yeah, so as I said, the language is different, right? So if you actually use the conventions, your ability to be productive is much higher than on any other platform. I'm not. This is debatable because you can always say that look, Symphony or Cognitive, if you really is a smart guy who can write the classes the way that it wanted, it can do it. I agree. And on the same token, if you come to Ruby on Rails and if you don't follow, or if you follow the Java way of doing things, you basically is going to become a very nasty person. Right? It is true. We've seen it. So it's not about the platform. It's about the attitude, the view of the developer. But my point was, if you actually learn Ruby on Rails on your own and passionate about it, you probably read about how I should write a Ruby code or Rails code so that the code is elegant, beautiful, and readable. If you follow that, I think you will be successful. Yeah.
Java is better.
Java and Ruby are both programming languages.
Yeah.
So, of course, both are, you can use it for building standard application, you can use it to build web applications.
How we can be integrated with that?
The back, when you say backend, if you talk about a web application, there is always a backend component, right? So the client on the server side will communicate through a framework so that things you pass on the you get the instructions or events from the front end of the application. In this case, we hover for a form most of the time. You pass the control back to the back end. In a Java world, it's going to be a servlet or a ASP thing running there. In the Rails framework, there will be an object sitting there. Listen your request. It does the business process. It implements the business process logic and returns the result back to the front end to display. That scenario is saying that you are on JQE or Ruby on Rails.
Yesterday, you mentioned that Rails.
Rails, yeah, Ruby on Rails.
Yeah.
Okay. So the startup use case. So I want to talk about a specific application that we built for an entrepreneur. The solution is called PlantMD. You guys know about the WebMD, right? WebMD is sort of a place where you can have your you can go in and search for your solution for your disease and get some answers, etc., etc. PlantMD is similar. Only thing is for plants, house plants in the US. So the solution involved that it's also you can also check that out. Your solution involved the entrepreneur. He's a guy with he tried this around 50 years ago. He is now 80 years old. Okay? He tried this 50 years ago using a paper advertisement. He sent me that advertisement. I should probably put that next time. And he is saying that, look, if your plant is weak or weary, take a picture, email me the picture of the plant, and I will give a solution to you. Okay? So he'll diagnose this, look at the plant nature, and come out with this solution. So, but that failed. Now, he came to us and said, look, things have changed. I want to build this, a solution like a web application. So the use cases are, if your plant is weak or needy, you basically take a picture of the plant, go to this website, create an account, and then you answer a questionnaire. In the questionnaire, there are different sections, right? Like living environment, specific issue with the plant, and it will allow us at the back end to run an expert system analysis to find out what is the problem, what could be the problem. So you basically answer that questionnaire, attach a photo of the plant, and then upload it, and you will get the solution within a day or two. So what he wanted was that he gave us all these rules. Okay, if the answer is A, B, C, D, it's a decision tree basically, right? Based on your answers, you narrow down the decision tree, and then you create the solution, which is a PDF, and send it. That is, in summary, the solution involved. Okay? So we are not here to talk about the solution. We are here to talk about the advantage of building this, our experience in building this application on Ruby on Rails. Okay? So this is real. This is real life experience. It's not like from any textbook. It's our own real life experience. We took 2 weeks to discuss the idea, to understand what he wants. We were on the phone call with him almost 1 or 2 hours every day, explaining the logic, algorithm, and other things. We prototyped in 1 month. We made the prototype in 1 month. That means the screen layout, how it should go from A to B to, and of course there's a payment gateway integration involved too. Because he was charging $5 for every successful answers people got. Okay. So, and then we launched the website in 3 months to early adopters. Okay. Now, can you guys think about the number of lines of code we wrote to get this? Any guess what? Thinking of the number of lines of code. How's this? Something in between. 1,400. 1,400 lines of code on Ruby on Rails to completely cook up a functional website. How many developers do you think worked on it? 1. And then we took them to the idea to the marketing. So all this is because of my earlier points about the dense availability, how you can quickly. Success. That's an interesting question. Success is still debatable. Yes. In my opinion, he made some. I also told him that he should not make it payable to people, even to charge people right from day one. I said no. So we took out the payment. Now there are traction. But in my opinion, this will take many years to get some traction. He has to do a lot of content marketing. He has to have, because if you think about people who will use this system are the people who are interested in plants and plant dynamics. So he has to have a lot of content related to the plant. He has to content market it. He has to get a lot of pull, attraction to his website to be able to use it. He started doing it. So I don't think there is any traction at the moment, to be honest with you. It will take many years if he's got sustainable interest to make it successful. It is indifferent from this side or any side. Portals like this, which is fairly generic in nature, requires a lot of content marketing, a lot of blogging, a lot of pull factor to get people to the website. So I hope he will be successful. But it's just very new. We don't know. Maybe next year I'll tell you how he's doing. But yeah. But then the fact is that we were able to build something for him really functional pretty fast. Yeah. Right.
Source code editor is portable. That is the third person.
Sorry?
Source code editor.
Source code?
Editor.
Editor.
Yeah.
Editor, I mean, there's an IDE. Are you talking about the front-end editor, how you write code, you know?
Yeah. No. The language is the source code editor.
Yeah, so you could,
That can be portable with any person.
you mean Word or,
Yeah.
I mean, as a developer, you don't typically use, like UI, I mean, you do IDEs, but some people write even text editor or, VI to write a source code, that's okay. But, eventually these are text, right? So, there is no, I don't see any, need or value in to be able to port this to Word or other things. But it's possible, but, most of the developers work on an IDE or some people, really work on non-GUI based editors. That's like it. Okay. So that's pretty much end of my presentation. I'm sorry, there was some problem with the, I don't know what the presentation is like, the images were not coming. But anyway, that's about my presentation. Was there any questions?
Java, Ruby, and Rails, it is open source. And your company name is coincidentally named Ruby or?
Yeah, we run the Ruby software. We wanted to, but if you look at our, having said that, we do have other technologies. We do some Android, Java Android applications. We recently moved to SIT, which is a new prototype language for the iPhone applications. So if you look at our brand, Ruby, it's not that Ruby, the other Ruby, it's the Ruby, the gem Ruby software. But having said that, we had a preference to use Ruby because of our affinity towards working with Ruby at the early stages.
You promote that by training people?
Yeah, we have to create talent. So we have a training program. We recruit people to come off the campus.
It's for your own use. Otherwise, as an outsider.
No, we don't offer commercial training. We have a program which is called Ruby to Campus, which we want to take this technology to campuses and then let them learn this language when they are doing their projects, etc. So that at least they get to experiment with it for a few months, and then if they really like it, probably come and.
As you said in the initial part of the presentation, say any of the startup,
Yes.
they wish to adopt this framework, Ruby and Rails.
Yes.
What will be your help for assistance to promote that since they adopt it? Apart from, promotion by words, by action, do you assist them in this office? How to use it? Minimal training. Like where to look up for them?
Yes, see, we have conducted training for other organizations, like Expedia. We've conducted a one-week training. Those are they are not free. We charge them. So that's possible. And then we are going to have regular Ruby meetups promoted here. So and most of our company staff will come and be present or available for discussions and consultation, free of charge, of course. So those are the two areas I think how we can help promote the program. Any other questions? Thank you so much for coming.